Hello, I'm back cruising. Now, can you guess where I am? I know I've got my coat on and it's a bit drizzly, but I'm not in Iceland. I'm not in the Baltic. I'm not in the fjords. No, I'm in Cape Town in South Africa, but it's a bit drizzly and overcast today, but I can feel that the sun is trying to break through. Here's a map of the dock. Let's go and explore Cape Town. Cape Town is busy and buzzing day and night. When you leave the cruise terminal, just follow the yellow brick road and it will lead you straight to the waterfront. Okay, I'm going to cross here, Table Mountain to my left and the waterfront to my right. It's clearly signposted, or if you want to adventure, you can take the red hop-on hop-off bus, and that takes you everywhere. And if you want to explore the promenade beyond the waterfront, why not hire a bike? Loads of people do it, and it's a fun way to see it. Follow the signs for the clock tower. This way to Victoria Wharf. Head for the clock tower. Just a few hours later and it's a glorious day. Most things look much nicer in the sunshine. Most cruisers visiting Cape Town will probably spend a lot of time at the waterfront, which is a really happening, fun place. If you want to venture to Robben Island, that's where you get the ferry. It's best to book in advance. It's a really popular tour. We were lucky. Ooh, look, some sea life. The African trading port is a good landmark for a meeting place. It's very prominent and there are lots of things to look at. Beautiful models of animals. Look at this. And there's also a sculpture of Nelson Mandela. South Africans are famous for their music. Paul Simon is one of our favourites, and this was a great rendition of Diamonds on the Soles of Her Shoes. If you were up on Table Mountain now, I would suggest you wore a jacket. In fact, it's a good idea on any day, because it can get a bit chilly up there. Just by the Time Out Market, you've got statues of 4 people that won the Nobel Peace Prize. There's Nelson Mandela, there's Claire, there's Desmond Tutu, and Albert Luthuli. 4 great men. And in the background you can see the beautiful Table Mountain. Remember we went to the Time Out building in Lisbon? Well, this is the Time Out restaurant in Cape Town. Should we have a look? We're at the Time Out Market in Cape Town. It's not quite as big as the one in Lisbon, but it is just as fuzzy and it has great toilets if you're at the waterfront. What meat is it?
It's about lamb.
Lamb. Leg of lamb. And at the time of making this film, the Wi-Fi is free. If you don't have time to go and do a wine tasting at one of the vineyards, there's a great South African wine bar in the Time Out building and it has a brilliant selection of wine. The great thing about the Time Out building is if you want to call an Uber, it's a great place for them to pick you up. Across the road's the shopping centre, if shopping's your thing, and behind me is the wheel. You can't miss it. It's not as big as the Millennium Wheel, but it's still pretty impressive. So if you fancy taking a spin, it's 250 Rand if you don't live in South Africa. Here's a model of where we are. There's the cruise terminal, the aquarium, the watershed, the wharf across the road, the wheel, and, come with me, just a little word of warning. These bushes have nasty prickles on, and if you catch yourself on them, they will draw blood. Victoria Wharf is the shopping centre, in case you fancy a bit of retail therapy. This is the place to come. Look, here's Woolworths, and they're selling Versace, Armani, Bobbi Brown, Tom Ford, and Chanel and Lancome. Woolworths, 1,000 ways to say you care. Not like the old adverts that Stuart used to make. you can get a dinner suit, and you can get an iPhone. It's amazing. The hop-on, hop-off bus is always a good way to get around. This is the Botanical Gardens. Always a pleasant way to spend some time. And there's lots of interesting specimens. It's in the shadow of Table Mountain, so it's worth remembering that if you want to get on the cable car, the hop-on, hop-off bus is a good way to get there. It's quite cost-effective because you get to visit lots of other places on the way. We stopped at Kirstenbosch Botanical Gardens. If Botanical Gardens are your thing, it will cost you 230 rand to get in. We appear to be following that hop-on, hop-off bus again, but he doesn't go to the Penguins, where we will be in a few minutes. Unfortunately, the cable car has stopped running today. Also, the clouds so low that I doubt we'd be able to see much even if we could get up there. But the view from here is really good. This road is 302 metres above sea level. The top will be 1,067 metres. That's the back of the football stadium. We were a bit disappointed we couldn't go up to the very top of Cable Mountain because of the wind, but we stopped in this very colourful spot here. It's mainly Muslim area and they paint all their houses different colours. The coloured houses remind me a bit of some of the places we saw in Rio de Janeiro and also in Key West in Florida, but they use more pastel colours there. Nathan Chicolo, he's a recycle artist, so this is all made from recycled material. Lots of art studios, and this is a pink giraffe. Carrying on our amazing day out, our driver is taking us to a vineyard. Vineyards and the garden route are something that South Africa is so famous for. We went to the nearest vineyard to the port because we had so much to see in our day. We didn't really bother with the tour of the cellars because we'd already done that on our champagne tour, and you can watch that on our film on Doris Visits. So we're about to do our wine tasting, and what you do is you get a chart. You have to work from this one, left to right, so they've all got a number, and then they tell you which wine you're tasting on the chart. And they also, we've got pairing, so I've got cheese and Stuart's got dried fruit. So apparently what you do is you take a sip of the wine, then you take a bite of the cheese, and then you take another sip of the wine, and then you find out how that affects the change in taste and the deliciousness of it all. So I might not be able to speak after I finish this, but here goes. Cheese. Lovely.
Did it change the taste?
He's actually right, it softens the taste. It does make it less acidic. Not that it's really acidic, it's a nice wine, but it softens the taste, definitely. So the Durbanville Hills Vineyard is definitely a cheap place to eat. We had 3 meals and 2 wine tastings with cheese and dried fruit. Guess how much for the 3 of us? £30. This is where we're going to go. We're starting out at the harbour. We're driving along the coast. We're going to stop at Camps Bay. We're going to go to Hout Bay. We're going to go through Simon Town, and then around here we're going to stop and visit the penguins. And we've just stopped here at Camps Bay en route to show you what a great beach it is. It would be a lovely place to spend the day in the sunshine, and it's just below Table Mountain. Another great place on the way to the penguins is Llandudno Beach, which is down there. Behind the beach is an enormous township where you mustn't walk. Another great beach, Hout Bay. We're just trying to make you jealous, and now the sun's coming out. Did you see a sign for the penguins? No? Me neither. Good job you watched the film. Please subscribe.
We're just walking down to see the penguins, very excited. Hi, 2 tickets please. Yeah. So last year we were in South America and going to see the penguins, and this is all Antarctica here. Now we're in Africa and we're going to see the penguins. So here he is, the African penguin, the one we've come to see. If you've got the time, Claymont has a huge colony of penguins, but this is the one that's nearest to Cape Town. I'm quite happy with this.
You really get up close and personal. They're obviously very used to visitors, not bothered at all.
I can't tell which are the granddads and grandmas and which are the younger ones.
You can see a more detailed film of the penguins, the journey along Chapmans Drive and how to get there, as well as beaches and a township on this channel. Hit that subscribe button.
I'm really glad we stopped here. I'm really enjoying it, but I'm not sure I'd want to stay here for 2 hours. And some of the coach tours, they leave you here for 2 hours. So I think we were very lucky getting a private driver. I think it's a great way to do it. You come out through the shop, great merchandise, but it is quite expensive. But that was a fantastic experience. We're driving back and we're going by the Indian Ocean route this time, and this bay is called Muizenberg, and all these beaches are so wonderful, and that's why when they did the Bounty advert, they came to Africa to film, because the beaches are stunning. I'd say even more stunning than the Caribbean. We're in Cape Town Fish Market waiting for a fish platter to eat before we go across to Robben Island. Exciting.
Robben Island is still inhabited and some of the people that work on the tour live there.
150 people are staying at this village.
So if you just want to see a penguin, come to Robben Island because you can see them clearly and quite close up. So basically you get off the ferry and then they put you on buses, and the first hour is a bus tour where they tell you all about the history of the island and the people that were imprisoned here. Going in prison now. This is where 60 to 70 of the prisoners were locked every night. This is where they spent their nights on the floor. This was their cell. Oh, that's who's in here. So this is a cell, and this is the section the isolation section where Nelson Mandela was kept.
Nelson Mandela's cell, the one we've all come to see, the climax of the outing. You can see a more detailed film of Robben Island, the journey, the coach tour, where we stopped, as well as the prison, on this channel. Please subscribe.
That is a box tick because I've always wondered what it was like, but it's nothing like I imagined. South Africa's rhinos are being wiped out by poachers at a rate of 3 a day for the rhino horn. You can actually buy these rhinos and they'll ship them to anywhere in the world for a donation to their cause to protect the rhino. We've just stopped in Dakar in Senegal. Isn't it funny how a port never looks how you expect it to? We're off to explore.
We have over 500 cruise port guides on YouTube. Please check us out, subscribe to the channel, and see some other cruise port guides from around the world, from Rio to Iceland to the Mediterranean to the Canaries and back again. And while you're on holiday, please try one of our cruise crime thrillers. Start with the first one, Cruise Ship Heist.